for comprehension. And we want to make sure that the kiddos are understanding who the main characters were, where the setting, where the story happened, the setting, the plot. We want to make sure that we are academically focused. We are academically focused. So, you know, when I went to school, a lot of kids, it was the first time that we were separated from our parents. We didn't do a lot of pre-K or daycare or whatnot. And now things are very different. So it used to be that kindergarten was the first time that kids were separated from their parents. The first time that maybe they were around a lot of other kiddos that were their peers. They maybe were around cousins that were much younger or older, but learning to interact with your peers is a very important skill. Now, our behavior goals are very different. We do want the kiddos to be more responsible for their own personal needs, like going to the bathroom and being able to verbalize what they need and want. We also want them, teach them to be able to work independently. We do learning centers and stations where instead of the teacher standing in front of the classroom and lecturing, we set up multiple little tables where each table has a different topic that they're working on. The teacher will walk around and help them, but they're learning from each other. They're learning from doing, and it's student-centered learning. Meanwhile, the teacher does reading groups with the kiddos. So we do teach them to work independently. So the schedule for a kindergartner, this is a sample one. Our day runs from about 8:30 to 3:40 in the afternoon. Drop off is between 8 and 8:30 in the circular drive in front of our building. One of our staff members will open the door, help your kiddo get out, and they walk into the building and go back to their classroom. As the kiddos are coming in, our teachers are amazing at greeting each child one by one, asking them how their evening was, what they did, having that special interaction with each of them. And they start their morning work. And then when everyone's there at about 8:30, they start the academics. So English, language arts, and reading begins around 8:30. They do phonics, and then they go into literacy stations. Lunch is around 10:45 in the assembly room. We don't have a cafeteria. They eat in the assembly room. We put up tables. If you walk into our building from the main doors, if you've already been in there, it's the big room all the way to the left. If you have not had a tour of our building, I believe a virtual tour is coming soon. At 11:15, shortly after lunch is 30 minutes, they have recess. We have a little play area outside. It's got a gate around it where the kiddos go. Then they go into math at 11:45. At 1:15, it's core knowledge or history and science. They have a quick snack and a little recess, which is really a large bathroom break at that time too, between 2:15 and 2:40. And then from 2:40 to 3:30, they go to specials. They have PE for 3 days a week and art for 2. And then at 3:40, we have dismissal. So from 3:40 to 4:10 is dismissal, and we ask that you have your kiddo picked up by 4:10. We do a car line, and we hand out these awesome documents with pictures on them that show you exactly where to go and what to do. All right, so at the beginning of the year, right before the year starts, we do kindergarten pre-assessments. It's not to see if your child gets into kindergarten. Your child has gotten into kindergarten, you signed up. This is to see it's a quick snapshot of where your child is academically. We ask a couple of questions of you. We ask, if they've been to pre-K, where they went. We ask them to write their name to see if they can. We ask them, basic numbers, questions, alphabet questions, one comprehension question is a little story. We read them. If they can read it, great. Just to see where they are. And we'll be sending out a Sign Up Genius as it gets a little closer. We normally send it out during this presentation, but given the circumstance of COVID-19, it's going to come just a little bit later once we figure out how we're going to work through everything. So we have a couple of expectations. The first one there you see is the potty. We do have bathrooms in both classrooms, but we do ask, and please, we ask because we give you a little bit of time ahead here, there's about 3 months before school starts, that your child be able to be independent in the restroom, to not only recognize the need that they need to go, but to be able to verbalize it. Because remember, it's one adult and 20 kiddos. So we want to try to minimize all of those moments that, some of the little ones get embarrassed if they can't figure out how to work their belt or their buttons. And remember, when we're at home, a lot of times we'll put our kiddos in like elastic band stuff so that it's just easier. But they're going to have uniforms on that have zippers, buttons, belts. So knowing that, it's a good time to practice, because we just don't want them to be embarrassed. We don't want them to have any issues. We don't want them to be stuck in the bathroom for an extended period or not be able to get there in time. So it's just a really good like heads up to work with them if, they're not familiar with those things. Another thing is lunch food containers. I mentioned that we do not have a cafeteria, so we're not serving food for lunch. You are asked to bring your own. The kids bring their own little lunch kits. If you need ideas on what to bring in a lunch kit, I remember when I was required to pack my daughter's own lunch kit, I was like, oh my gosh, what do I bring that we don't have to heat up that she'll actually eat? Because I had the full expectation that my child was going to go to school and starve the whole day and then come home, like a little monster. And she did for the first couple of days. I didn't know where to send her. And we were new to the area and I didn't have anyone to call. Y'all reach out. I have seen everything brought for lunch. I have some really good ideas. My child liked a little buffet. So we got a little bento box. IKEA has some really good ones. They're cheap. They have lasted forever. And I gave her little containers, little sectioned off areas of all kinds of different things, and found out what she liked. A lot of parents like to send Lunchables. If you want to send a Lunchable, that is great. It's quick, it's easy. However, I'm going to ask you to go grab one and hand it to your child. Get the pizza one. Hand it to your child. Have them sit at the counter and let them open it. Step away while they're opening it. And see how far the cheese flies and the marinara sauce. Because I guarantee you that there will be more cheese on the floor than on their pizza. And, the whole goal here is to make sure their little tummies are full and stay full until snack time, because they kind of end up with a different version of themselves if they don't finish their whole lunch by snack time, because they're hungry by then. So do make sure that they can open those things on their own. If they can't, work with them. If you just see that there's no hope that they're going to open that marinara container, put it in a bento box, put it in a little container. I know it's harder to clean, but it's peace of mind that they'll finish their food. And that it won't end up on the floor or their uniform, because our uniform plaid has a little bit of white in it, and red doesn't go well with white. All right, so our dress code, Fully Promoted is our vendor. We have guidelines in the student handbook, and in the newsletter we will be sending out. There's a link to Fully Promoted. I believe they still have some sales going on right now, so check them out. When I stop presenting my screen, I have my daughter's skirt here. I'll show you the plaid if you haven't seen it before. They have some really cute little bows and whatnot. And then we require, Miss Butler, correct me if I'm wrong, the shoes, it's 90% black,
90% black or white.
Okay.
So that means it can be like a black shoe with a white Nike check, or it could be a black, a white kid or something like that. The only thing I do ask that it is an athletic shoe, because they have to double with PE plus playing on the playground. We want them to have an athletic shoe so that, anything like boots or anything like that won't hurt their feet.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. PE recess outside, we have the ground coating is a torn up like tire pieces. They're black and it comes off on stuff. So I understand white looks great, and it does right when you buy it. But after about a week, it's going to be black anyway. So just FYI, just something to keep in mind when you're looking for shoes. Once again, if you need help, you're going to have my email address. I will pick up my phone and help you out with whatever you need. as you're going through this. I know it's difficult. I know there's like a lot of stuff to get and whatnot. Been there, done that as a parent, as a teacher. I'm here to help. Which goes along with our next slide. Communication is key. We're really big about that at the Woodlands Classical. We've learned a lot since COVID-19. We were great before, but we're getting even better. Kindergarten is a special place. Communication is extra important. So we implemented Class Dojo a few years ago. Some of you have probably used it during your preschool years with your kiddos. If not, it's a really cool app. It works just like a text message. You click the button and you send a text to your teacher in real time. The beauty of it is the teacher can send pictures and videos right then and there. The first 2 weeks when we start school, we have a closed campus. And I know that's hard, but as a parent, it's difficult. But we allow our teachers and kiddos to bond in that time period, and it's super important. But it's really cool to be able to get pictures and videos from the classroom. The teachers are really good about it. So we've used Dojo in the past. When COVID-19 came around, Jupiter Ed became more used in kindergarten and the lower grades where we only use Dojo. We're going to have some kind of clarity on which one we will be moving forward with, and that's going to be coming out soon. We are working hard to make sure that the teachers are able to reach you just as much as they did, whether it's Dojo, Jupiter Ed, a Google Classroom, whatever it is. Be on the lookout for an invite to something, and it will be, kindergarten usually comes out pretty quick with how they're going to communicate. So be on the lookout for that. We also do meet the teacher after we do the kindergarten pre-assessments. The kiddos are placed in their classes, and then we don't have the date yet, but before the initial first day of school, you'll be able to come up, bring your school supplies. There'll be lists on the wall saying whose class your child is in. The teacher that does your child's pre-assessment will not necessarily be their teacher. It's just how the time slots fall. The children will then be put in classes from that point. So when you come to meet the teacher, you'll be able to look at a list and say, oh, I'm in Miss Nevejas's class, or, however it goes from there. So we also have conferences throughout the year. You may schedule them with your teacher. Your teacher may reach out and schedule them with you. They may want to do them in person. They may want to do them on the phone. They may want to have a Zoom meeting because, well, we all know how to do that now. The one thing that we ask is that, we do allow you guys to come up, and we encourage you to come up for lunchtime to have lunch with your kiddos. We do ask that you don't have a conference during lunchtime because the teachers have 30 minutes with the kids. Once they get them set to eat and they run to the bathroom, heat their food and eat, it's not a lot of time. They're lining the kids back up. So do schedule a conference if you want to meet with the teachers. And then the kindergarten teachers send out a daily binder. When you see the school supply list, which will also be in this totally comprehensive newsletter that's coming out, it's a green binder, I believe this year, a 1-inch binder that will have, it's like the holy grail of kindergarten. It goes back and forth every day. It is your tangible form of documentation to see what happened that day. So if your child had a great day, your teacher's going to write a little note saying they had a great day. If your child did not have a good day, your teacher's going to write a little note. And then if you need further communication from there, you go on to Dojo or Jupiter Ed or whatever that form of communication will be for next year. Any notes coming from the teacher, coming from school, will be in that binder. There'll be a folder in there. And then any work that the teachers want to return to you that your child completed. So a lot of times parents are curious how they can get involved. They want to be a part of everything going on, and we are encouraging it, especially for our kindergarten parents, because we know that you guys are the ones that really are like, I want to help out. I want to get involved. So please do reach out if you feel that way. Let us know. The teachers are a great starting point, the front office. Reach out to me. Let me know you want a place, you want something to do. I'll find one for you, I promise. Ms. Butler will too. We have so many things that we need help with, and you guys are new to our campus, and we want to get you involved. If you want a place, we'll give you a place. So the teachers a lot of times like people to come read. We like guest readers. There's nothing more exciting than to have someone knock at the door and a parent walk in, and the kiddos get so excited. But that does need to be scheduled with the teacher a couple of days in advance, because they do their lesson plans and they are very specific about their timing, as you can see from that schedule from before. With the small groups and stations, sometimes it's helpful to have an extra adult in the room. If there's an art or craft involved, it would be really nice to have, an extra set of eyes, hands to get things done. So we love that help. If you have a special skill, if you're a fireman, if you're a police officer, if you have something that you would like to come talk to the kindergarten class or any of the classes, please let us know, because that's so fun for the kids. We do have an amazing PTO, and we're always looking to recruit you to be a part of it, which also includes room mothers. If you would like to be the room mother and help plan parties and whatnot, feel free to reach out, let your teacher know, let the PTO members know. At the beginning of the year, we'll have a meeting for PTO. And then, so background checks I have on here too, because in order to go to the back of the building to be in the room with the kiddos, we're going to ask that you complete a background check. It kind of looks like you're applying for a job at our school. It comes out at the beginning of the year. I know that sounds kind of weird, but your teacher is going to send you a link at the beginning of the year and let you know where it is. And so if you are one of the parents and when I said reading to the class or small groups, or that you have a special skill or you want to join PTO, when that link comes out for a background check, please go fill it out quickly, because it takes a while for those to come back. All right, so at this point, I am done with the presentation, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen, but I do want to show you our little plaid as promised, if I can get it. I'm over here at Disneyland, the Woodlands Classical Disneyland, so my backdrop here makes it kind of hard to see, but this is our plaid. Let's see, there we go. There's our plaid. It's got the navy blue and white in there, and our uniforms have our logo right on the top left. Let's see if I can get that in there. There, you can kind of see it. There it is. Top left chest area. And they have a bunch of cute little bows and whatnot. I probably won't get this oh, there it is. That you can see if that's something you're interested in from Fully Promoted, or you can make one that matches any of the colors in the skirt. So, Ms. Butler, do you have anything that you would like to add at this point?
I did want to mention one thing. We do have a closed campus at the beginning of the school year. So the first 2 weeks of school will be closed campus. Now, I just want to mention the first day of school, you are allowed to bring in your child to the classroom, drop them off, and things like that. But about 9 o'clock is when we kind of cut off, and then that's at that point will be a closed campus for 2 weeks. So it's usually the whole month of August, and then we reopen in September. That's about the 2-week period. So I want you to have some solace that you will get to drop your baby off in their classroom, that we don't just say, get out of here. But we do allow you to come into the classroom and drop them off. And then at that point, they'll start walking in by themselves and things like that.
I found it's a really good idea. I'm glad you mentioned that, Ms. Butler, to prepare them for that too, and let them know, like, mommy's going to walk you in today, and this is what we're going to do. And then after that, you're a big kid, you're in big school, and you're going to go in on your own. Hopefully they won't be like my daughter. I think Ms. Butler did it the same, who looked at me and was like, bye, Mom. So made me cry. But then again, she was good. I wasn't. But we'll see. So.
I had another parent that did have a question in the chat about how often did background checks need to be completed. So you'll complete one background check at the beginning of each school year. So each school year you will have to apply for a new background check. At the time that you have your background check, if you want to participate on campus with helping out with the students, or if you go on kindergarten field trips and things like that, you will be already approved, so you won't have to do that again. So once you've done it one time, you're done. But it does take about 6 weeks to get that process all the way completed. Sometimes quicker, depends on the time of the year.
And you also need the background check for field trips. If you want to have like a group, you can go on the field trip and be like with your child, but in order to, we break the kiddos into groups. And so you need that background check done for that also. So it's a good idea at the beginning of each year, just to kind of, you know, get used to that process of just filling it out and going through if you can. And if you have not signed the sign-in sheet or you're having trouble, please let me know and we'll get you signed in, or please do try to sign in if you can.
Where's the sign-in sheet?
So in the chat box off on the right side, there's a link. If you copy it and paste it in your browser, you should be able to go straight to it. And then your child's name will be there. And if you're having trouble with that, if you give me your child's name and your name, I will get you signed in.
Okay.
Or you can just put it in the chat.
I'll put his name in the chat.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I know technology is so much fun, isn't it? We're learning so much with all of this.
Okay, so I'm getting a couple of questions in the chat, and let me answer a couple of them. So one about uniforms. Uniform information will be in our newsletter that we will send out. It is an interactive newsletter. It's a virtual newsletter. And this is the newsletter. The format that the Kinder Roundup newsletter is like the newsletter that I send out weekly for parents. So you'll kind of get an idea of what the type of communication that we send out once a week from the administrative staff. So all of the information is in that email about uniforms, and currently Fully Promoted is running a special on some of their uniforms. They're discounting them, so it'll be a good time if you want to buy a couple of items that you can purchase them there. But it breaks down exactly what everything will look like, and it'll have information directly on the store about how to purchase. And they're closed right now due to COVID-19, so everything has to be done online at this time. The next question was, I can sign the parent in that sent me that private message. I got you, don't worry about that. Had a parent that texted me about, sent me a chat about the curriculum. So I can talk a little bit about the curriculum. Just understand that things are subject to change over the summer. Sometimes things just change, but what I can tell you right now is for reading, we do use Spalding, and we do teach phonetics through Spalding. We also use for math, we use Pearson Math. We use STEM scopes for science and core knowledge for social studies or history. So those are our subject areas. In addition to that, your child will also participate in PE and art. And we're going to be trying to add music this year. So we're going to try to add music this year. So those are the three things that will be offered. During art, we're trying to incorporate more. So again, guys, we've learned so much through COVID-19. So we're going to be trying to do more cross-curricular activities where students may start a project or maybe talking about, like we were talking about science activities or non-living versus living items in science. And so we took that project, the art project from STEM Scopes, and they actually did that lesson in art class. So we're trying to be a little bit more flexible in the things that we're offering in art, but I will tell you, Kinder has some of the cutest projects that ever come out of art. Even during COVID-19, they took their fingerprints and they made little animals out of their fingerprints. And they also did like these little love plates for Earth Day. And they did I don't have the project on my desk anymore. I used to have a little project on my desk where they made recyclable flowers out of like tops from water bottles or Gatorade bottles. So they're always doing creative and fun activities in art. So they'll never be short of fun activities.
Teacher to student ratio is usually 20-1.
Yes, 20-1. And this year, I will tell you, it's a little less than that. I think we got, it was 17-1 teacher at the end of the year. Now, it started off more, but throughout the year, it got down to 17-1. The timeline for submitting your documents, the quicker the better. but normally about 2 weeks after you have submitted your information, or you've gotten a request that, hey, you've gotten a seat here at the Woodlands Classical, we would like you to have your information in within 2 weeks. If you are having trouble, you can reach out to our registrar, Miss Sonia Dow, and she can work with you. I think she's waving her hand. If y'all see her in the chat over there, oh, I'm sorry, in the lineup over there, she's waving her hand. Reach out to her, but usually 2 weeks is kind of our timeline, because we do have a waiting list, and so we want to try to offer anybody who wants to seat here at the Woodlands Classical a seat here. So try to get your information in as quickly as possible.
Let's see, I have one from Hank, Mr. Hank. We do not have a library right now. We do, each classroom, the teachers have their own little library that we've built in our classrooms, and the kiddos have time to read. We also do some electronic work on Kindles. Both kindergarten classrooms have access to a full set, not a full set for the classes, but a set for their station and center time. So as they're doing rotations, one of the rotations that is consistent each week, or each day, I should say, is reading time on one of the digital platforms that we use for reading.
And in addition to that, we also have a program called Reading A to Z that teachers and parents have access to, that you can, it has a plethora of books that your child will have access to. It's really cool because we can assign books on your child's reading level so that they can have access to that at school and at home. Okay, I got 2 questions. Is there an actual list of food items that can be brought to school? No, not at this time. We don't have an actual list of food items. Now, I say that, but there may be food restrictions that come up, because if a child has any type of allergies that's in your child's classroom, sometimes we do ask that you don't bring peanut items. This year, we've had some interesting items of our allergies this year. We had a student that had a chocolate allergy, a nut allergy, an egg allergy, and a dairy allergy. So we've had some different ones. Now we do try to limit that to like those classrooms that the children are involved in so that they are safe. So there may be items of restriction, but it just depends on what child is in your class. I hope that makes sense. And then we'll send out a letter about anything that cannot be brought to school due to allergies and to safety of that child. And if your child has an allergy, we do have a nurse on staff that we will be communicating that information to. So please make sure that you let us know, because we do want to make sure your child is first and foremost safe here at school, and we don't want them to come in contact with anything that would harm them. I think this must be, I see, when will we be contacted about any missing paperwork? Miss Sonia, I'm gonna let you answer that one.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yes, when will parents be contacted about missing information or missing paperwork?
Documentation.
Yes.
So I am making phone calls, so I've already reached out to a handful of parents. I'm just trying to give people some time. So if you know that you haven't turned in your documentation, go ahead and email it to me. So I am reaching out though, and if you have any questions on exactly what is necessary or what's missing, you can always call our office and I'll go over it with you and your child enrollment specifically.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry, my phone is ringing. Is there any other questions or concerns that we can assist you with at this time?
I have everyone signed in, or I have notes for everyone on the side that is present. So we're good there.
I just threw in the chat, our phone number is 936-242-1541. It will also be in our SMORE newsletter, so don't stress if you don't get it right now. It will be in our SMORE newsletter that will be sent out. So just look at the very top and we will have it right there. So I wish I could tell you, I just got a chat in. I wish I could tell you everything is going to be back to normal in August. but unfortunately, I cannot tell you that with fidelity. So therefore, I'm going to tell you we're going to play this thing by ear, and we're going to just keep your children as safe as possible. So as soon as we know, we will let you know. But right now, it's a day by day, hour by hour situation. So unfortunately, I wish I could just say with 100% yet gusto that yes, we're going to be back to normal in August, but unfortunately that is not the case. So we'll keep you posted on how we will be proceeding in the fall as soon as we know. We are hoping for the best as well. We're hoping 100% for smooth sailings and open schools at the beginning of the year.
I have someone asking about birthday celebrations. So what we have normally done, because we do have kiddos with food allergies, every now and then we have kiddos with different health issues that require their parents to kind of scramble to get things in time for them. So we as a school require 48 hours notice. There's a document that we'll send out at the beginning of the year that will ask you to fill out before you bring anything to school. You can bring, in kindergarten, we usually ask for like the little mini cupcakes instead of the big ones because it's just so much for them. Or, you know, whatever it may be that you want to bring just to check with your teacher first. Each teacher's a little different. So we do allow like those little birthday celebrations.
Ms. Sonia, I have a question for you. What is your preferred method for submitting documentation?
So at this time, I believe email would be great. So if you have accessibility to a scanner, you could always scan and email it to me. Or I've also had some parents take pictures with their phone and then email it, you know, with your smartphone to me as well. And my email is sdowell, S as in Sam, D as in dog, OWELL @responsiveed.com. I think Ms. Butler will probably put my email in the chat because she's way better than I am. But there you go. So if you have any questions about any registration, you can definitely reach me via email, or if you have your documentation, you can send it to me to my email address.
And in the newsletter, I will also have Ms. Butler's, Ms. Dowell, and my email for any questions that you may have.
Sorry, my phone is still over here beeping. So guys, if there is nothing else, I absolutely thank y'all for, number one, this is our first big meeting that we've had since school's been out, that we've had parents from not our school that have been on Zoom meetings. So I want to say thank you for joining us, and I am so glad that everything went super smoothly. We just appreciate everything. We appreciate that y'all are, you know, interested in coming to the Woodlands Classical and wanting to join us for this meeting to learn more information. Please, again, I know we've said this a million times, please do not hesitate to ask. But before I go, is one more person I don't think I've mentioned on this call, or two people haven't mentioned on this call, that I want to thank them for joining in with us. Our Assistant Director, Dr. Stephanie Offiger, she is here, and also Miss Kim Wallace, she is our Secretary. She also deals with registration and enrollment. So if you don't hear from Miss Sonia, sometimes it's Miss Kim, so I want to make sure that y'all have a face with the name. So all of my staff, I appreciate you so much for joining us today and really helping out with questions and answers. Parents, we are hoping for the best, that we have a smooth opening in August. So again, we will keep you posted. Check out our S'more newsletter. It's going to be jam-packed with great information. Also, I think we recorded this meeting. So if you, I'm hoping we're trying this thing out, guys. Zoom, so we're a Google campus, so we've been using more of Google Hangouts. So Zoom is still kind of new for us. So we're hoping everything went well, but we hope we have a recording of this meeting. So therefore, if you had somebody that you wanted, a spouse or someone that wasn't able to make it with you today, that you can join, that they can watch this replay with you. So we'll try to get, again, going to try our best to get it out for you guys today. So we're going to see where it records and all that kind of stuff. But definitely check out our newsletter. It's going to be jam-packed with great information. Also, our school website is a great resource. And if you haven't had a chance to check out our Facebook page, that is where we are. We have our web page that has more of the curriculum and the stuff that you got to know. Facebook is more of our fun page where you get to see the things that actually go on behind the scenes. It's like some of the things that are happening in classrooms. Like if you really want to get a sense of what the uniforms look like, please check that out. Things that happen on campus, we have lots and lots of pictures there. So go and just run through our page and you'll see a lot of the fun things that we do. Something else that I don't think we mentioned, we do have what's called morning assembly with our students. And then during morning assembly, we have it once a week. Our campus has now gotten so large that we don't get to have it every day like we used to, but now we have it once a week, and I meet with them and we talk about character virtues. And that's one of the biggest things about our campus that kind of separates us from others. We don't want your child just to get academic success. We also want them to be better human beings. And so we really instill those character values into your children this month, and you'll kind of get a sense of what we're talking about. In the newsletter that you'll get is actually the excerpt from my newsletter that I sent out to my parents that had, we're talking for the month of May, it would have been humility. I think it's humility. Let me make sure. No, courage. Wrong. Humility was the previous month. We're encouraged. Now we're talking about courage. And what does it mean to be courageous? And how can I show courage? So we have some information about that. Just a little snippet of what your child would learn if they were here at school about courage and how to be a courageous person. So we really feel like our school is a great fit for you if you're looking for a public school with a private school feel, small class sizes, and that we're going to instill things in your child that a public school would not, such as character education. So I hope that you've enjoyed our presentation for the day. Please feel free to reach out to us. Our information will be in that SMORE newsletter. And if you have any other questions or concern, feel free to email us at the emails that are listed in that newsletter. So if we don't have anything else, y'all have a wonderful, fantastic Thursday. Bye.